Hello and welcome to Hawkeye Traders. My name is Randy Lindsay. Today's market update today is October the 2nd, 2019. Volatility is back and the markets are responding in like manner. Usually when volatility increases, the markets have a tendency to decline and the prices go down, and we can definitely see that in the chart. So let's do a very quick review of the major markets to see exactly where we are. The S&P 500, you can see, has failed to create new highs. We're trying to get back to the 30, 31 and a quarter level. Price failed to do that after a short weakness in the August prices. September's rally came to a halt just short of the peak, and now we're seeing volume to the downside coming in and forming pressure. We can see that the Hawkeye trend dot has gone red, identifying a downtrend in the S&P 500. So this is a daily chart. Looking at the weekly chart, we can see that we are in a consolidation triangle or a wedge here where we can see the failure of price to rotate, but now we're coming down to the lower side. If we get a break down below the low side of this triangle, which will be right about a 2906 area, or maybe even to 2900, right in that area, real psychological barrier, that's going to be extremely bearish. And you'd be looking for that price to break all the way down to at least 2800, 2700 or lower. So it all depends upon the result of that. But right now, that's exactly what we're seeing. Looking at the fat boy, you can see that ever since the middle of September, the beginning toward the end, we see that the indexes have all peaked out. The S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the Nasdaq have all peaked out in that month. What that peak out means is that they've become extremely overbought, and you can see that the energy is starting to flow out of those markets, and the energy has continued to flow out all the way up into October. And you can see for the first time, we're starting to see a real convergence of all of the major markets, crude oil and gold included. They're all trending down beyond fair value, down into a potentially oversold region. What I expect to see is that gold will not make a new low off of the Fat Boy chart. This is like a relative strength index where you can see previous lows and current lows. So I'm expecting to see the low that we had previously had. See, this is a higher low. So gold now should create a new higher low in before it continues to build back with strength. And that's on top of the weakness of the other markets. As these continue to go down, and they're coming down with some extreme strength. What I mean by down with strength, that means that they're extremely weak. And I'm watching for this to start creating some opportunities. If this breaks below, then we will see this cycle back between fair value and being completely oversold. So it'll bounce back into those regions once we see price break. If it does not break below this weekly channel, then watch for it to continue to wind up throughout the month of October. Let's look at some other markets. The NASDAQ. You can see very similar activity, a failure to create a new high. It is also in a weekly and a daily channel, constricting down into that range. Okay, so let's look at the Dow as well. Okay, the Dow has come right to its highs, but still failed to create new highs on the push up. I haven't drawn the channels, but you can see there is a nice wedge forming right there with more of a flat top. So this is almost like a bullish wedge, but it's still a consolidation wedge nonetheless. The Russell still, again, since that time has failed to create new highs, and so that's still giving us a very divergent trend, a consolidation wedge, a potential break. So there are very high amount of correlation in these regions. All of them to this point have given a trend down signal, and so we're looking for a continuation of weakness into October. Looking at the gold bugs, usually a very good indication of the directionality of gold. Right now, gold is in a downtrend, and you can see from the weakness here that gold is trending with the markets, but gold is usually a contrarian. So this is forming a nice base, okay, with a descending high. So this base is not showing a clear sign of building. So if we were to go to the gold futures contract so we can get an idea of the volume that's coming in here, you see a lot of disparity in the volume. You see buying, selling, neutral, selling, buying. This is accumulation and distribution signal, but you're seeing a lot of weakness. The trend is down, but the volume is starting to show signs that this is reversing. Just like we saw the signs of the weakness at the top, we're now starting to show signs of strength at the bottom, of potential buyers coming back into this market because the volatility is increasing and the markets are starting to show signs of weakness. Typically, October is signs of weakness coming into the market. So looking at that volatility index relative to the S&P, we can see that the volatility is starting to break into a new high channel based upon the downtrend coming in from August's low. So we can see that that failed to create a new high, but now we're starting to break out into this descending triangle on the volatility index. So with a rising volatility, with increasing volume is increasing from 44 million to 46 million, which is greater than the 46 million to 15 million that we saw from buy side. So a lot more pressure to the sell side, a lot more increase in volatility, decreasing in activity and energy. So we're looking for this to be potential start of a nice bear move in the markets. It's not in yet, but this is what we're looking at. And based upon the setups and the charts, then looking at gold, looking at the S&P, back to the S&P again, then we do see that there's a potential for this break and possibility of real strong weakness throughout the month of October. So prepare yourself. Volatility looks like it's back with a vengeance, and make sure that you're trading with confidence and you know exactly how to trade these markets. To learn more, come to my free training class today. We're going to be meeting here in about an hour, 9:30 every single Wednesday. HawkeyeTraders.com. Sign up. Also, sign up to get a copy of our software on the same page, or register to get a copy of our free ebook. Learn to trade the Hawkeye way. Thank you very much.